Here we have the current stock market update for NVIDIA Corporation, stock ticker NVDA. Before we begin, if you find this educational material to be helpful in your trading, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons and leave your thoughts below in the comments section so that other traders will be able to find this information more easily on the platform. So as we can see here, this stock is continuing to trade under a bit of selling pressure to start the week. Here we have a 2-hour price chart. So each candle on this time frame will be representative of a 2-hour trading period. And as we can see here, there was a fair bit of selling pressure into the Monday open. Currently, we're seeing share price lows coming in at roughly 114.35. And this is an interesting price level because what this really means is that share price activity itself was able to remain contained within the exponential moving average cluster, as we can see here. So ultimately, we can see if we sort of move into the price chart a bit, we can see that share prices did manage to bounce off of this orange line here, which is the 50-period exponential moving average. So currently, as things stand, we're trading above that EMA cluster, exponential moving average cluster. But this is not really an impressive feat given the fact that that cluster itself is trading in a very tight range at the moment. So it doesn't take very much to break above or below those moving averages as things currently stand. So where we are at the moment, what we're looking at mainly is a major resistance zone that comes in just below 120.80. This would be the main level that I would be watching to the top side. And it will be very important for the stock to break through this level because this is essentially what would invalidate this current head and shoulders pattern that we're watching for this stock. And the unfortunate reality here is that it's a fairly large head and shoulders pattern. So what this would mean is that the ultimate price projection, if this pattern were to unfold and continue to unfold, we would actually be looking at a price projection right around $70 per share. So the way to get around that, the way to invalidate that, would be to see a share price movement above this 120.80 level, because that would essentially take out that right shoulder and allow us to then invalidate the pattern and start to move on from there. We did see a bit of selling pressure into the start of the week, as I said. So this does show that the overall price pattern itself does have validity. It's not something that can just simply be written off. Because there is underlying logic that makes sense for a head and shoulders pattern. You see a high, you see a successive high that's higher, but then that third high in the sequence is not able to retest that same area. So that's currently what we're seeing at 120.79. So it's not surprising that we did actually see some selling pressure at that moment. This is a very major technical signal that's starting to unfold, and I haven't heard anybody else mention it yet. We could still invalidate this pattern, and we're not far away from doing that. We would really only need to see share prices move higher by about $3, $4 in order to break back above this resistance level, and then this would this at that point this would invalidate the pattern. But the way things currently stand, this is something that we have to deal with, and there is underlying logic that supports the validity of a head and shoulders pattern, and the reason that it does project lower price values rather than higher price values. In addition to that, we have the indicator reading and the relative strength index, which does continue to point in the downward direction. So what this tells us is that negative momentum is still controlling share prices. This does not mean that we can't break through this area here, but what this means is that we will need to see this trend invalidated before we can start to really expect prior highs to be retested. And when I say prior highs, I'm really talking about roughly that 130 level. And then that ultimate resistance that comes in at 131.26. So there are a few things that need to happen first in order for us to start to expect that type of bullish outcome. Near term, as I said, we could just be looking at a share price movement of roughly $4, just below $4, in order to invalidate this head and shoulders pattern that's currently developing here, and then. The share price movement, if we do start to see prices move into that direction, it is then quite feasible that we would also remove this downside momentum condition that is currently taking place in the RSI itself, in the RSI reading. So, where we are currently, the RSI has broken below its own exponential moving average. That's this purple line breaking below the yellow line. And then in addition to that, as you can see here, the condition here, the overall condition is still bearish. So we've got some conditions here that do suggest lower share prices. And I do think that what we're really going to need to see in order to break out of this rut here, this sort of sideways downward bias for this stock. I think that what needs to happen here is we need to see share prices trade back above, back into the 120s, at least back above 121. I think that that's really what starts to take pressure off of the downside and then sort of reinvigorate this broader uptrend. So, there are some things that need to happen before we can reasonably expect share prices to start moving higher. So the trading volumes themselves are also showing some interesting readings here, because what we're starting to see is sort of a decline in market interest at the moment. As we can see here, the trading volumes have started to diminish a bit, and the spikes that are occurring more recently have been in the negative direction rather than in the positive direction. So we did see this bounce off of the $100 level roughly, and that did come with its own set, its own round of buying activity from the market. But since then, that has started to diminish and wane. So, there are some things here that are currently pointing in the negative direction. So at this stage overall, it really wouldn't take much to tip the scales, probably in either direction, to be quite honest. I mean, if we did start to see a break below, this exponential moving average cluster, that could also reinvigorate the market momentum in the bearish direction. And then if we don't break above this declining trend line in the momentum reading, that's another factor that could actually send prices lower from here. So I'm not saying that I'm outright bearish on the stock, but I'm definitely saying that there are some price patterns here that need to be broken in order for us to actually start to expect sort of a vigorous upward price movement in share prices. So, recently all that I've been seeing, all that I've been seeing on this platform once again is, bullish projections, $300 per share, 1,000% gains and things like that. I mean, just these strange random numbers that people use as clickbait for their idiotic videos. But as things currently stand, we have to actually look at the chart history itself. All market information is contained in share prices. So, if we're not seeing clear readings here on the price chart, there's really no reason to believe that share prices are ready to start to move in the positive direction near term. In order for me to change that opinion, I would need to see a break into at least the 121 level. So that we can at least firmly establish ourselves above that 120 handle. So here's the current stock market update for NVIDIA Corporation, stock ticker NVDA. Our high value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market, lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership, and start trading stocks with the pros.